everybody, Gina DeLuca here. All right, I am trying something new today. I am going to try Mina Villegas's Tipsy Piggy technique for mixing pigments. And the pigments that I'm using are this Little Piggy in Enchantment. And I have Primary Elements by ColourArt in Snapdragon. I love this color. So what that entails is I used some 91% alcohol and just put a little bit of that in the bottom of the cup, added my pigments to that, mixed it up, got it into kind of a slurry, and then I add the mix pouring medium. Thank you to Krista Rasmussen for sending that to me. I've been dying to try this stuff. It is a very thick pouring medium, which makes it absolutely perfect for the pigments. It is, it's probably like a 3 or a 3.5 on my consistency scale. So I actually had to thin it a bit when I added regular paints so that they were the same consistency. So the other paints I'll be using are the Decoart Americana Decor Metallics in 24 karat gold. I am now a Decoart affiliate, super happy about that. And you can check out my affiliate link in the description box below. And if you use that link, I receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. And they usually have a lot more colors than you will find in the stores. And so that's where I always get my Decoart paints, even before I was an affiliate, because they were always out in the stores of the colors that I use the most often. The Satin Enamels in pure white is another one that is always out in the store. These two are very popular, and they are usually available at the website, on the website. I have Amsterdam Acrylics in titanium white, and that is mixed with the Satin Enamel pure white. And then for my base, and it will also be in the pour, is the Amsterdam Acrylics in brilliant blue. Really pretty color. So we'll see how this turns out. The paints have been mixed 1 part paint, 2 parts mix pour, and the pigments, I didn't quite measure the pigments themselves, but I would say it was maybe like half a teaspoon-ish. With the alcohol ink, and then the rest is the mix pouring medium. Okay. You can see the consistency is quite thick. It leaves a mound on a mound. And that is what we're working with. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art Inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards, and each technique card has an associated video here on YouTube. And there is the picture from that particular video. This box here has a tip for that particular technique. And then here at the bottom is the color palette for that painting. And then these 2 boxes can also be used as the basis of a 2-color palette, or you can build off of those 2 colors. There are also 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one has 5 color palettes. Use some of the colors, use all of the colors, or you can mix and match the color palettes with the techniques, and you have more combinations than you could ever paint in a lifetime. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and they are also available now at amazon.com. And if you purchase them off of Amazon, please do leave feedback. They are sticklers for the algorithm there, and feedback is a big part of it. Okay, usually I put down my base coat first, but this stuff is thick, and I don't want it to set up while I'm filling the cup. So I will fill my cup first and then put down my base coat. And you'll see that I've already covered the edges of my canvas. That's just because a lot of times on straight pours, usually they're thin, and so the sides may not get the best coverage. But this stuff is so thick, I probably don't need to do that, but it's just a step that I don't skip anymore, really, no matter what the technique is. I just want to make sure that it's covered. It's not a thing I have to worry about after the painting has dried. It's just easier to do this than it is to go back in and touch it up if your canvas is showing through. Okay, I'm going to start with a little bit of this blue. I'm always checking the consistency before I put it in the cup. It can thicken upon standing. And I'm going to do half of this enchantment. And my 24 karat gold. And this beautiful, beautiful Snapdragon. Oh, I love this color. Just gorgeous. And the Satin Enamel Titanium mix. And that is sinking, as we know it does, which just means to me I might get some cool cell / fingerling action. Bit more of the blue. And repeat. The pigments that I've seen pretty much from most of the companies, just the colors are just stunning. But the ColourArt and this Little Piggy pigments are just absolutely gorgeous. And I will do a bit more of this blue. Okay, that to the side. Going to lay down this base coat. This is also a very pretty color. I do like it very much. So the base coat will help your paints slide around on your canvas so that your lines and your pour don't roll over top of each other. Something has to stick to the canvas. And if you don't have a base coat, then the paint on the bottom of your pour will stick to the canvas, and then it will roll over top of itself. And you will lose the edges of your pour. And sometimes that is where the really cool stuff can happen, especially on straight pours. Often that's where you'll get your boulder cells on those outer edges. So you want to make sure that your paints have something to slide around on. Okay, let's make a mess, shall we? As it gets closer to the end of the cup, I will get closer to the canvas and slow it down a bit. And what is in the center is going to get stretched the most. So it is important that you take care Okay, give myself a 10 on the dismount there. I've got some of these satin enamel cells popping up. I did try this yesterday with a different batch of colors, and it did not, it didn't turn out so well. It was, it all kind of blended and just turned into a funky color. So I scraped it and saved it, and I'll use that for a base coat somewhere. But let me give this a quick torch and get rid of some of these bubbles. This is looking a lot better already than my attempt yesterday. I chose some less adventurous colors. Okay. Some really pretty things happening here. All right, let's give this baby a stretch. And I'm going to kind of stretch north, south, east, west first before I head for a corner. Not tilting off the edge, just stretching. Always being mindful of where the weight of the paint is. The weight of the paint is going to be where your paint is moving the fastest. And by being mindful of that, you can really, really control your paint and almost give yourself corners. So I will bring it back to the center. Always bring the weight of the paint back to center before changing direction. This will, oh, you know what? I think this corner first. And I've had people ask me, how do I choose which corner goes first? You know, after a while, the paint just kind of talks to you, sort of. Not really, I'm not crazy. But you will be able to see where it will set up for a corner the best. So like right now, this is looking kind of flat, but this has a little bit of a bump there. So I'm going to hit that side. And patience is most certainly a virtue when tilting. Very important. It is not a contest about speed. You do not have to whip your paints around your canvas. If you take your time, you can get very deliberate in how you tilt. If I wanted to tilt just off of the center of an area, wait, I can't demonstrate because my hands are full, but I will in a second. Back to center. So if I wanted to just tilt right here, I could do that. I would bring my paint back to the center and then I would head in that direction. And I could tilt just that and not the sides, not the corners. Okay, and I missed that corner there, but that's okay, because I can just touch that up with some of my drippings. Now I'm just gonna adjust my composition a bit. Okay, here's a good example. That's kind of a lot of white for me. That isn't really doing much. So I'm just gonna lose some of that by making sure that the weight of my paint is in the center. I can just tilt that center. I'm not actually losing anything off of the corners. Okay. All right. Definitely better than what happened yesterday. Faux show. But I'm going to let this sit and I will bring you in for a close-up. Back in a few. Okay, here it is. Definitely better than what happened yesterday. I will be very interested to see how this looks dried. A lot of my pigments disappeared. I think a lot of them were on the edges that got tilted off. But I think when this dries, I'll be able to see a bit more of the shimmer. Get in there close. Got a little spotting action in there. Not sure. It looks like it's a 24 karat gold. I've never seen it do that before. For clouds, I think if you wanted to do a cloud pour, this obviously works well. I'm actually kind of surprised that it worked that well, being as thick as it was. I usually have to go pretty thin to get that effect. Let's see if I can. So I think like these areas will be shimmery, more shimmery once it's dry. But this came out really pretty. I'm pleased with the overall composition. It has that abalone effect that I've been striving for what feels like centuries. But it hasn't been. I put up my first video, I think yesterday or today was 4 years ago. So thank you everyone who has subscribed for making this quite the fun ride. An unexpected career change. But there it is. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. Please do like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Check out the description box below for links to my PayPal tip jar if you feel so inclined. Greatly appreciate it, but certainly not expect it. Also in the description box, you'll find links to all of my affiliates. Decoart, Blick, Amazon, and Arteza. If you enter through those links, anything that you purchase off the entire site, I will receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. And you will also find the link to my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art and music and the fluid art inspiration cards for sale. And the cards, of course, are also available on Amazon. And last but certainly not least, you will find the link to our Facebook group. Go make some art, join us there, post your masterpieces, ask your questions, get some inspiration. And I think that's it. So I say get yourself a bottle of this mix pouring medium and try it out. I am pleased with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this dries. I will show the dried piece as well as some other dried pieces. Maybe I'll just do a video showing a bunch of dried pieces. And I am in the midst of varnishing, getting ready for the next auction. Whenever that happens, hopefully soon, I will let you know. All right, that is it for me for today. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.